Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Coffee with Interns. I am joined by a very special guest, Cameren, this week. And we are actually having a little bit of a different spin this week on Coffee with Interns. Cameren is actually starting an assistantship, so a little bit different of a journey. And I think this is going to be really, really interesting for a lot of you to hear about. So I'm excited for Cameren to share his journey with you. As we start every week, I'll just share a little bit about myself. I am a two-time grad of CMU, and I am an assistant director in our office working with the College of Education and Human Services. And I also work with our First Impressions program here at CMU, where we give free professional clothing to our students. We are starting the fall semester very soon, so I'm very excited to see everyone on campus. We're excited to welcome you all back. Summer has been, not as exciting with students back. It's always kind of, not as lively without the students. It's always not as fun. So I'm super excited for all the students to be back. And as we start every week, I am drinking my coffee in my Career Development Center mug, which Cameren, you will be getting one of these mugs as a thank you for joining us today. And in my coffee today, I have vanilla creamer, so not anything that fun today, but got to get my coffee today. So Cameren, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you and let you go ahead and introduce yourself today.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Cameren Mahone, born in Detroit, but raised in Macomb County. I went to CMU in 2018 after transferring from Macomb Community College for 3 years. Quickly got involved at CMU, fell in love with everything, all the aspects of it, all the different opportunities. Was a hall council president, resident assistant, was involved with Leadership Institute as well as a connections conference coordinator, also became a promotion as a training coordinator. I've done the MLK Older Rhetorical speech. I've done an abundance of things, and I love CMU for it, and I'm just forever grateful. Currently about to be going to Florida State University as a graduate assistant for retention and engagement. And something I really want to be in the future is a university president. And that interest for me really sparked after meeting with President Davies, also meeting President Ross, and just meeting all the higher education professionals that were around me at CMU.
That is so awesome. And I think for our students out there, we've all heard about these internships that our students are doing and completing over the course of the summer. But I think for some of our students, maybe they're not as familiar with assistantships. So Cameren, maybe you can discuss what an assistantship is, but then also like the process of finding your assistantship and deciding on graduate school for yourself.
Yeah, so basically, an assistantship is something that the university gives you, and I would say majority of colleges in the U.S. have some form of assistantship. You have different ones like Residence Live, Orientation, Career Center, different things like that for the higher education field. My internship specifically goes into orientation, and I'm also a TA, and also do a lot of data analysis and just collecting information. And I love assistantship so much because they'll pay for your tuition, and that really paves basically the whole way for you to go. And then they also give you a regular check on top of that. So it helps take care of housing, unless you have a housing assistantship, which they will cover all of that for you, including room and board. Pro tip, CMU actually has some of the best in the country, so you should definitely do that. But finding an assistantship and finding a school is a very not an easy process. I would definitely say take advantage of the people around you. For me personally, that was Dan Gakin. Dan Gakin helped me with the whole way, whether it was a recommendation letter, finding schools, finding the best fit, or programs for you just in general. And I would definitely say apply to your reach school, because I got into my reach school, and that's something I'm forever grateful for. And something you should definitely do in terms of applying to graduate school, start early. Start working those drafts early, the statement of purpose, making sure that people will write you those letters of recommendation, because they are very essential. And yes, they do review all of those, make sure there's no errors in any of the statement of purposes, things like that, and make sure it's all golden. And also make sure other people review it as well. You always want someone else to go over your work, and that's something that's very essential applying to graduate school.
Awesome. And I think it's so important that you say work on those things early, because whether you're applying for an assistantship, going to grad school, applying for an internship, make sure you do those things early. I can't stress the importance of that. So I'm really happy that you said that as well. And, in the Career Development Center, we help with applying to grad school. We help with those personal statements, statement of purpose as well. So if you need any help with that, please reach out to us as well. Shout out to Dan Gaken. I love when people, mention their mentors or people who have helped them through the process at CMU too. I think that's really awesome that he helped you so much get through the process too. So what was your inspiration for going to grad school in general?
My inspiration going to grad school in general was that my brother was like already going into graduate school when I had already like graduated high school. He was like done with his master's degree. And I was like, man, that looked like it was really, really fun. So I already wanted to go to graduate school before I moved into my co-hobby dorm at CMU. I just didn't know what school I exactly wanted to go to. And then it was even filled more when I became an RA and I realized I loved helping people, which is all of what higher education is, no matter what the higher education field is, you're going to love helping people, which is why you go into it. And I was just like, I can see myself making a career out of this. This is something I really, really want to do. This is something people tell me I'm good at. So that is really what sparked my interest. And knowing that I like to communicate with students from like all different backgrounds made me want to become a university president because you have to engage with people with all different backgrounds. And that's something I really love to do. And I want to continue doing as well.
And Cameren, that's so cool that you figured that out so early in your career, because I think so many of us in higher education, including myself, we go through, through college and never think of the people that help us through college, like, career coaches, academic advisors. We never think of that really being a job that we could do. And I don't know why we don't think of it. We just don't. We don't think of higher education as being something. And so, for you to figure that out right now is awesome. I love that. So for those of you listening, listen to Cameren and realize that higher education is such a cool field that you really can help so many people in. So if you're interested in the field of higher education, people like Cameren are really great people to connect with on like LinkedIn, things like that. But talk to anyone as well at CMU that maybe are helping you through the process and talk to them about the field of higher education too. So how do you feel like CMU has prepared you for graduate school and maybe your assistantship as well?
I think CMU has prepared me in more ways than one, better than any single school in Michigan could have. I'm currently in San Diego, California right now. I'm at University of San Diego. I've seen nothing but U of M, Michigan State things out here. And people think of Michigan, they typically think of those two big schools. But I think I became more successful becoming a CMU student because I have just as many opportunities, but on a smaller scale. I have more opportunities to succeed. I have more things at my grasp that a lot of people at U of M couldn't would have to basically not be able to do because those are professionals there that are running those jobs. But CMU gives opportunities to students to get that growth, that development, and that leadership. And I was like, man, I don't think I could do this literally anywhere else. And it's a really, really good school. I love the campus. It's beautiful. And the people there are amazing as well. And they've worked at those different campuses. This is a personal preference to work at CMU. I don't think those schools are any better in general. They're just better known. But I think CMU prepared me way better for that. And I think it's prepared me as well for my assistantship because I've had so many different opportunities that a lot of people don't even get until they graduate graduate school. And I got all that within my undergrad at CMU.
That's so awesome. So awesome to hear that. So within that, how do you think this graduate school and assistantship will prepare you for your future career? I know you haven't really started it yet, but how do you feel like in general this is really setting you up for success for these different goals that you've talked about?
Yeah, so the biggest thing about me going to Florida State is that it was a school, like I love the state, but it was also something out of my comfort zone. I've been in Michigan my whole entire life. Now I'm about to go all the way down to Tallahassee, Florida by myself where I know nobody and see if I can succeed. The state alone itself, just moving by myself is going to be a challenge. But I also wanted a different assistantship. I didn't want something that was just normal. I wanted to stick out on my university president when I am applying. So when they said a graduate assistant for retention and engagement, that was a brand new position. They've never had this before at all. Something brand new that was drafted because they found it in the budget. And this is something I actually want to go for. So like I said, I get that orientation experience. I get to present an orientation. I get to also start grading papers. I get to learn how to use this Excel even way better because I'm not the best at Excel, which is fine because I'm going to learn and I'm eager to do that. And I get to engage with people all around the campus, and I get to meet university partners. And this is something that I should know how to do for when I'm older inside my professional career. So I think it was probably the best assistantship for me because it's something different. And people ask me what my assistantship is, I have to explain it. I can't just say, oh, like it's housing. Well, it's housing. We know what housing is, but retention engagement. So tell me exactly what that is. What do you do? What are your day-to-day responsibilities? What are your qualifications? And how are you going to use this into your future? So that's why I love that assistantship so much.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a really big part of higher ed right now, especially going through the pandemic. So many schools are looking at this process of retention as well. How can we best support that through the pandemic and now returning to this new normal that we have? And so I think that especially this assistantship is going to aid you in your future career, looking for those positions after you graduate as well. And, if you don't mind, would you talk about some of those future goals a little bit that you talked about with me? Because I know you said, even thinking about like going for another master's degree and then doctorate degree. Will you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that that's just so inspirational for our students to hear as well.
Yeah, for me, it kind of hits home. I graduated high school with a 1.4 GPA, and it was really really bad. So for me to be like going to graduate school for the state, it was really really big. And to be a university president, you're most likely going to need a doctoral degree. So I'm looking at being educated all around the country. I would love to do that. So I'm currently looking at schools like UCLA, USC, University of Miami. So I'm already looking at doctoral programs in these different states because I'm just like, I want to have as much education as I can. If someone comes to me and they have a problem, I want to make sure that like, okay, I'm very, very knowledgeable on this subject. And I also want to be very, very Michigan educated. So after I'm done getting my doctoral degree in another state, if I choose to do so, I plan to come back to Michigan and get another degree. I don't know where it's going to be at just yet, but I'd love to get a second master's and be very, very Michigan educated. I'm very, very proud to be a Black man, very, very proud to be from Michigan as well. So if I can come back here and get another degree after I'm done in Florida or doing whatever I'm going to do, I would absolutely love to do so.
That's awesome. I mean, what amazing goals you have for yourself. That is so, so cool. Such an inspiration. So if you could give one piece of advice for students looking for an assistantship or applying to grad school, what would you tell them? Or maybe you have multiple pieces of advice.
I would definitely say be thorough and use your mentors. I think at Central, I have more mentors I can count. Got Dan Gakin, John Glenn, Bill Odell, Asha Davis. Like the list just literally just goes on. And these are all people who helped me throughout my entire time, like at Central. And I was like, hey, how do I do this? Does this sound funny to you? Okay, so I know I did actually for this school, but how, like you got to make everything very, very specific to each school. So utilize those people that are around you because if they're your mentors, they're there and they want to help you. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you do great things in the future. So for me, I was blowing up their emails, their texts, and calling them every single day. But I got into the graduate school I want to go to, and I got into my dream assistantship. So, I mean, take advantage of them and honestly, just try your best and don't get discouraged because you might not get the first assistantship, you might not even get the second one, you might not even get the fifth one, but you will get an assistantship that you want and you will love it and you'll be thankful you did all that stuff in the past that got you to where you are today.
And I think, at all these different universities, there's so many resources for you. And I think so many students don't take advantage of the resources that are there for them. Take advantage of those resources. That is literally what they're here for. We want to help you as much as we possibly can. And so never feel afraid to send us an email or to set up an appointment with any of our student services staff because we want to help you. That is what we are here for. And I know that's true of all CMU staff and at most universities, we want to help as much as we can. So, to kind of wrap things up here, I mean, I am so happy we had you on. First of all, as a disclosure to everyone, Cameren woke up so early because he is in a different time zone. So he woke up super early to be here for us. He's also getting on a plane to go to Detroit. So I mean, so many things. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I think that this was such a great thing for our students to hear this different side of, we have internships, but this is a different side of it, a different route you can take, going to grad school, doing an assistantship. And so I love that you're able to talk about this and the idea of stepping out of your comfort zone and going somewhere completely different. So I really appreciate having you on. I've been inspired today. I think our students probably have too. So I really appreciate you being here. If you could give any last minute advice or any last minute tips to our students or anything that you want to share, that would be great.
Yes, for anybody that's still enrolled at Central Michigan University, get involved. Get involved. There's so many opportunities on CMU's campus to diverse your resume that it is literally insane. I show people at these bigger schools of my resume and they are literally surprised. They say you have more experience than someone who is actually finishing up graduate school. And it's literally insane. I'm like, CMU gives you all those opportunities and they do it for free. Get involved at CMU because CMU will literally change your life because I think it definitely changed mine. That's my advice.
That's awesome. Absolutely. And what a great way to build your resume too. Get involved as much as you can, not just for your resume, to be able to talk about that, to be able to expand yourself as a candidate and holistic person in general. So, Cameren, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for spending your morning, very early morning with me. So I really, really appreciate it. Good luck with your assistantship, with grad school. We hope to follow up with you and hear about your journey. We're really excited for you. And thank you, all of us, for joining us and for having your coffee with us this morning. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday.
Thank you.